What up, YouTube? So as you can tell, I am on a walk this brisk late December morning with my dog, Echo. She's a Great Dane. She requires frequent exercise or she loses her damn mind. But anyways, welcome back to the channel. You're not going to see my bike or my garage in this week's episode because we are on vacation. Where we live in north central Washington, it gets absolutely frigid cold temperatures. So when it gets too cold, we like to go places. This year, we are in Ocean Shores, Washington. My family owns a little bit of property out here at the OSORC, which is the Ocean Shores Outdoor Recreational Club. It's you can buy like little plots of land and come park an RV or travel trailer on. The really cool part is it's a short walk to the beach from those properties. So the wife and I purchased a travel trailer, parked it on one of the family plots that we have out here. And we like to come out here every once in a while. We came out for Thanksgiving. That was cool. Now we're out here for New Year's. And on average, it's about 20 degrees warmer here than it is where we live in Okanagan, which is really nice. Check out the sunrise, eh? But anyways, every morning, whenever we do come out here, every morning, Echo and I, it's the dog, we take a walk to the beach. And I let her run around on the sand, big, wide open area. She loves it. All the new smells. She always tries to grab a crab or some other poor sea form of life. She's crazy. She's a crazy dog. But yeah, so this week's episode, and I'm just going to one-shot this thing. There's going to be very minimal editing because I'm, again, in a travel trailer with two children, my wife and a dog. So not a whole lot of quiet space outside of the ocean. But I'm not going to be filming, or I am filming, but I'm not going to be editing a whole lot out here. It's too cold. Although it's about, 30 degrees right now, something like that. Still too cold to be out here just trying to edit videos on an iPad. But this week's episode, just thought I'd show you a cool preview. Because, I almost just ate shit. Because we are going to be making a trip, and by we, I mean all of you, if you watch the video. But me, Rob, and Connor, and hopefully I can get Mitch to come, are going to be coming out to Ocean Shores. We're going to stay, do an overnighter, stay at the travel trailer. Because that travel trailer does not move. It lives here at the lot. Which is really convenient. You know, we just kind of throw all the tip outs in and lock the door and drive home. It's kind of nice. But anyways, so the guys and I are going to be making a trip out here next summer. And it's going to be awesome. Yeah, see, she likes the beach. she's a bit of a spaz, as you can tell. But yeah, so the guys and I are going to be making a trip out here on the bikes, and I'm going to bring you guys along, obviously. It'll be probably 2 episodes. The trip over, the night of, get a little bit of footage of us hanging out and drinking some nice American whiskeys or Irish whiskeys, and then I'll do an episode of the trip back. But the cool part about that episode, outside of I'm planning it now, so it's gonna be awesome. You guys are gonna get some cool footage out of it. But the big thing about that one is the road over here is absolutely gorgeous. Taking Blewett and Snoqualmie passes. If you're from this area, you'll know how beautiful that area is and that road is. Driving over here, we showed up yesterday. This is our first morning here for this trip. But the drive over was just stunningly beautiful. The amount of snow that was on everything. I mean, it was probably about a foot of snow or more at the top of the pass. Had to have been way more, but I'm talking about a foot on the side of the road. Everything was just covered in snow and pretty, not too much traffic. Getting over the pass wasn't bad at all. But yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a preview episode of one of the trips that we're going to be taking in the year 2026. It's just beautiful out here. So the reason why we're here now is because we're hoping to catch some fireworks for New Year's. They always do a pretty big fireworks show at Ocean Shores every 4th of July and every New Year's. So we're hoping to catch some of that. But let me get this camera set up. I'm going to pop a squat on this nice big old thing of driftwood. Let's talk about the year. Anyways. Yeah, Echo is very needy. Yes, you're a needy dog. Run. Vamonos. Go on. Go. Jesus. But anyways, so 2025 has been pretty great. A lot of family changes. Run amok. Go. Started a YouTube channel. This one got bigger than she already is. Go. Got a new bike, Sharkbait, as you guys know. She's coming along. Going to be making the appointment here pretty quick to actually take the bike to M6 Cycles in Idaho. All right, you want me to throw something? 1 second. Anywho, going to be taking the Sharkbait over to Idaho at M6 Cycles to get it professionally tuned, dyno tuned. So that's going to be a really cool episode. We're currently planning several trips. We're going to do one real long one that's going to take several days, possibly even a week. And then obviously we're going to be coming here for a couple of days. We might actually do this trip multiple times a year. It's only about 6 hours, so that means probably about 8 hours on a motorcycle. So a good long day of riding to get to the coast of Washington. But if you plan it right, probably do it in about 6 on a bike, if you can avoid some of the heavier parts, traffic-wise, that is. I hope you guys got that. This is going to be my last video for 2025. Next time I see you guys, it'll be 2026. But it's going to be a good time. Yeah, 2025, man. It's been crazy. Started a YouTube channel. Echo, you're just a big old dog. It's a big old dog, and you're in the way, and that's okay, because I still love you. Yeah, I was watching Mozak's video, and go on, run amok. Jesus Christ, go! You know, the really cool part about owning a big dog is you can't hurt him. Ow! Yes. There you go. Stay down there. Yes. She likes ear scratches. Jesus. You're a nightmare. Yes, you are. Okay, go on. Run amok. She's a very needy dog. So, this is my wrap-up video for 2025. Talk about a little bit, like we have been doing, about what we're going to be doing in 2026. Got a couple of really cool trips planned. Probably one of the earlier ones that you're going to see is M6 Cycles in Idaho on the Washington-Idaho border. Getting the bike tuned. That's going to be really cool. Then you're going to see this place in the summer. Super pretty. You're going to hopefully see parts of either the Four Corners run that we're trying to do. It's either going to be Colorado or Arizona. I can't exactly remember where that one is going to be. I'm going to take you guys on a tour of the local dealership. It's something that I've been wanting to do, is go to Lone Wolf Harley Davidson in Spokane, Washington, bring you guys along and show you all the cool bikes that they got. I want to go to a couple of their events in 2026. But yeah, so 2025 has been pretty good to us. This is a new development for us, being able to put a living quarters out here next to the ocean. I grew up on this side of the mountains in Shelton, Washington, like I've said before on the channel. But when we moved to the east side of the state, it was very, it's a stark contrast. It's very different than this side of the mountains. Not just politically or anything like that, but it's geographically crazy different. Everything on this side of the mountains is very green, very wet. You have the ocean just a short drive away. And on the east side of the mountains, you don't get a lot of that. You know, it's a lot of forest fires, if there was a forest. So a lot of wildfires, a lot of it's very dry, mountainous, high desert, you know, plains, if you will. And so, yeah, it's nice to be able to live there and then come over here every once in a while to kind of refresh and enjoy the scenery. I'm so excited to show you guys on the bikes in the summertime. Coming over on, you leave Eastern Washington, you go through Wenatchee, Washington, you follow signs for Seattle, basically, for Blewett and Snoqualmie passes. Once you go over that, you're taking an exit for Auburn, and then after that, you're taking an exit for, or is it Tacoma first? Tacoma, then Auburn, then Aberdeen. But yeah, it's just gorgeous too. That Snoqualmie Pass, it's beautiful. And in the summertime, you catch fighter pilots from JBLM, that's Joint Base Lewis McChord. It's a joint Army/Air Force base. The fighter pilots do training at Snoqualmie Pass. So every once in a while, when you get lucky, and not the last time, but the time before that when we came out here to visit, there was a bunch of F-16s and F-18s flying our missions, training ops, and it was really cool. Flying like right there. You could see the planes real well. They were doing low and slow passes. What is she doing? You good? Are you good, Echo? Are you good? But yeah, so hopefully, I mean, I know it's a chance in a million, but it would be really cool on next year's trip to be able to see some of those aircraft doing flybys. That'd be awesome. One of the reasons why I joined the Air Force is because I really, really liked the aircraft. I like planes. It was either going to be the Navy or the Air Force for me. And I'll tell you why I actually joined the Air Force. This will be a funny little segue into a fun story. So when I was graduating high school in 2008, I didn't really have a lot of prospects. You know, I didn't do too well in school by any stretch of the means. I wasn't good at a whole lot. I mean, I was always good at art. Wasn't good at math, wasn't good at, wasn't getting accepted into any colleges due to my GPA being 2.8, I believe was my GPA when I graduated high school. Skin of my teeth type of thing. And it was really a problem of motivation, I think. I was not properly motivating myself the way I needed to be. It was no one's fault but mine. But anywho, so upon graduating high school, I was realizing that I had zero prospects. My original plan of working for the family business at the time, my dad had a framing outfit called Framing Unlimited, where we would frame custom homes. You know, Ramblers, 2-story, whatever it is. That was my whole plan. Basically was to go work for my dad and be a carpenter, be a framer. But my dad had an unfortunate accident in my teenage years. He fell off a roof. I was on the job site with him, thank goodness, because there was no one else around. But he fell off the roof and he compression fractured 4 of his vertebrae, T2 through T4, and then a little bit of T5, I think. So he got pretty messed up, and the business suffered for it, right? Because it was just him and a couple of guys, and his sons, of course. But when that accident happened, the business went under, and we struggled for a long time, financially, obviously. So that job opportunity was gone. So I needed plan B. And plan B was the Air Force, or the military in general. But how I decided Air Force over Navy is kind of a funny story. I walked into the recruiting station there in Wenatchee, Washington. Used to have a recruiting station. They don't anymore. But I walk into there, and immediately, as soon as I opened up the door, the Marine Corps recruiter was sitting there just screaming at one of his DEPers. And they call it DEP. It stands for Delayed Entry Program. And that means that you sign up for the military and you are waiting to leave for basic training, getting all the training dates scheduled out, all your in-processing done. So they're called DEPers. So the Marine Corps guy was sitting there just screaming at the top of his lungs at this DEPer. And I was just like, oh shit, I don't want that. And then, come on, Echo, we're not done. She likes beach time. And then, so I averted my eyes from the Marine Corps recruiter dude to not subject myself to his wrath, if you will. And I saw an Army guy, and the Army recruiter was making his DEPer do push-ups, all right? And he's like, he wasn't exactly screaming and yelling at him, but he was doing push-ups in the corner of the room. And then if you looked a little bit more to the right, you would have seen the Navy recruiting office, and he was AWOL. He was nowhere to be found. So I was just like, well, shit, there goes the Navy, because he wasn't even there, and I was kind of on a time crunch. I wanted the hell out of town. And then I look over at the Air Force recruiter, and he is in civilian clothes, and he's out. He's retired by now. Otherwise, I wouldn't be telling this story, obviously. This was, almost 20 years ago now, 17 years ago, something like that. But the Air Force recruiter was in civilian clothes. He had they weren't AirPods at the time. They were just called headphones. But he had headphones in, his feet up on the desk, and he was racked out asleep. So I just said, there's my branch. So I walked in, knocked on the door, woke him up. He got upset about being woken up. But I was like, I want to join the Air Force. And he took 2 looks at me. I had long, blonde, curly hair. It did not look military material at all. And so I'm sitting there looking the way I look, knocked on the door, woke him up. I want to join the Air Force. And he said, all right, give me your driver's license. So I handed him all my pertinent information. He's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. I want out of town. So he asked me if I was wanted, if I had any run-ins with the law, yada, yada, yada. Got all that stuff squared away. And I chose security forces because it would get me out of town the quickest. If I would have chosen my original in the Army and the other branches, they call it an MOS. But in the Air Force, they call it an AFSC. My original AFSC was going to be a surveillance technician, which means that I was going to be an electrician in the Air Force, installing, troubleshooting, and monitoring surveillance systems like telecommunications and that kind of thing, fiber optic shit, which at the time was cutting edge. And let me prop this up. But it was going to take me 9 months to get in, of which I did not want to wait 9 months. I was like, to hell with that. I want out tomorrow. And I don't even know why that was on my list now that I think about it, because I did not get a good ASVAB score at first because I didn't care. But then, they made me retake the ASVAB, and I got a really good score on it, and I think that's when that came into play. So the guy's like, okay, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't care. I just want out this weekend. Basically, I want the soonest flight I can. And he said, well, go be a cop. So I thought about it for a while, and I was like, yeah, I could do that. It was something that I wanted to do as a kid, be a cop. So I said, yeah, screw it. Sign me up. So 3 days later, I'm in basic training. Yeah, served 6 years active duty. Yeah, that was the entire process. Otherwise, I would have joined the Navy like my brother. Even though he wasn't too big of a fan of the Navy, I still wanted to, every little brother wants to be like their big brother, so I wanted to join the Navy. But such is fate. He wasn't in his office that day. Ugh. Dog's a lunatic. But anyways, yeah, that's a funny story about how I joined the military and why I joined the branch I did. While I'm walking on the beach with my dog this morning, kind of wrapping up 2025. I'll try to get some footage of the fireworks, but it won't be before. The fireworks are not for another 2 days, I think, or a day and a half. So this video is going to get uploaded before that. It's going to be a very rough video. Not a whole lot of crazy editing going to go into this one. But I just wanted to put something out this week and talk about some of the plans for next year and kind of give you guys a little preview of this absolute beautiful beach that no one is on this morning. That's really cool, I think. But yeah, thank you guys for stopping by. Really appreciate you watching my video. I know not a lot of you are riding right now due to the season, but if you do get out there and ride, pay attention to weather conditions, pay attention to the road conditions, keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down, and I will see you guys when I see you. Take it easy.